You know that tension you feel in your shoulders, that ache in your stomach? What if it's not just a physical thing? What if it's your body trying to tell you something your mind refuses to hear? Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from Dr. Gabor Maté, all about that deep, deep connection between our emotions and our physical health.
So, to kick things off, let's talk about Joyce. She was a university professor, and get this, her department had never, ever given tenure to a woman. So the pressure? It was just immense. She felt like she had to do everything, every committee, every extra student, every single request. But later, she realized her problem wasn't ambition. It was that she just couldn't say no.
And here's where it gets really fascinating. The only time Joyce ever got a break was when her asthma got so bad she had to cancel everything and just rest. Her mind couldn't say no, but her body found a way. And that's the whole idea we're digging into here. When we push down our own needs, our bodies have a way of screaming them for us.
Okay, so let's start by trying to decode these hidden stories our bodies are telling. How can a symptom be way more than just a symptom? How can it actually be a message?
You know, for a long time now, we've been taught to see our mind and body as totally separate things. We treat our bodies kind of like a car. If a part breaks, you go to a mechanic and get that one part fixed. But what if we've lost touch with a much older, more intuitive kind of wisdom? The idea here is that our feelings, our stress, our physical bodies, they're not separate at all. They're one big interconnected system.
So, what is the central idea here? Just how deep does this connection between our minds and our bodies really go? Let's unpack the main argument. Okay, here it is, plain and simple. The hidden, chronic stress that comes from always putting other people first, it's not just a feeling in your head. It's a biological fact. It's like flooring the gas pedal in your car, but the car is in park for years. Eventually, that constant state of high alert just wears down your nervous system, your hormones, your immune system, and that can open the door to all kinds of chronic illness.
Now here's where a really interesting and kind of tragic pattern starts to show up. When you look at the personalities of a lot of people with chronic illnesses, they're often the most dutiful, the most responsible, the most selfless people you could ever hope to meet.
Just take a second and look at these traits. I mean, our society basically holds these up as virtues, right? Be dutiful, be responsible, take care of everyone. But here's the huge paradox. The very things we're taught are good can create this constant internal stress. Pushing down your anger, never saying no, ignoring what you need, these aren't just little quirks. They are patterns that keep your body's alarm system switched on 24/7.
I mean, think about the baseball legend Lou Gehrig. The guy was famous for his endurance. He once played through 17 fractures in his hands. This quote just captures it perfectly. He was unsparing toward himself, but solicitous toward others. He completely ignored his body's signals out of this deep, powerful sense of duty. It's a tragic but perfect example of this pattern. Or take Jane Hawken. Her entire identity got wrapped up in being a selfless caregiver. She says it right there. She found her purpose in looking after him. But by putting all of her own ambitions and her own needs on the back burner, she created this deep well of stress that just simmered under the surface for decades.
And this just shows so clearly how these patterns get passed down from one generation to the next. The former First Lady, Betty Ford, talks about how her mother was her role model because she just shouldered everything, never showing any vulnerability. That immense pressure to be the same, to be stoic, ended up contributing to her own personal struggles.
Okay, so this all sounds compelling, but how does it actually work? What's the mechanism that turns a psychological pattern, a suppressed emotion, into a real, biological change in the body?
Well, it really starts way back in childhood. We learn pretty quickly what we need to do to feel safe, to feel loved. For some of us, that's being the good kid who never gets mad. For others, it's being the responsible one who takes care of everybody. And these aren't just behaviors. They become these deeply wired beliefs that actually shape our biology. They literally train our body's stress response system to be on high alert all the time, flooding us with hormones like cortisol. It creates this biology of belief that just runs on autopilot for the rest of our lives.
So, what's the antidote to all of this? Well, it's what the author calls emotional competence. And no, this does not mean becoming some kind of robot with no feelings. It's actually the exact opposite. It means getting really skillful with your emotions so they don't have to show up as sickness. And it really boils down to 3 key skills. First, just being able to feel your emotions, to even notice when you're stressed. Second, having the courage to actually express those feelings and say what you need.
And third, and this one is so crucial, learning to tell the difference between a reaction that's coming from your past and what's actually happening right here, right now.
So this all leads us to the path forward. It's about reclaiming our ability to listen to our bodies, to honor our boundaries, and to learn how to use the incredible power of a simple, honest no.
You know, this whole idea really flips our concept of negative thinking completely on its head. This kind of negative thinking isn't about being pessimistic. It's about having the guts to look at what really isn't working. From this perspective, that relentless positive thinking we're always told to do can actually be damaging. It can be a form of denial that just papers over the real problems our bodies are trying to tell us about, which, of course, just ramps up the hidden stress.
At the end of the day, real health requires autonomy, and that's way more than just being independent. It's the freedom to make choices that aren't being secretly controlled by old fears or that compulsive need to get everyone's approval. Like the quote says, if you're just driven by those things, you're not in control. You're just a leaf being blown around by the wind.
Now, this is the ultimate takeaway, and it's so important. This isn't about making people feel guilty or to blame for being sick. It's the total opposite of that. Understanding this mind-body connection is all about empowerment. It gives you the awareness to start listening to your body, to start untangling those old patterns, and to start making new choices that actually honor who you really are.
So we'll leave you with this one question to carry with you. If you quiet your mind and just listen, really listen to the signals your body is sending, the tension, the fatigue, that nagging feeling, what is it trying to say no to? The answer just might change everything.